So last night in stream I kept getting this question in chat. Why attacking the air? He doesn't know the strat. He doesn't know he doesn't know the meta chat. You might notice in this gameplay that I'm getting all of my momentum on my two-handed sword charged for me. But how, why, and who? More specifically, how am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And who exactly is this for? First of all, let's start with the absolute basics by going to my abilities page. Going down into my passives, you'll see that I am playing a War Master. War Master can be either Wingrave or Senja right now. And part of the War Master's passive is the Art of War archetype. Weapon abilities charge 15% faster, and when using a weapon ability, you will get weapon power bonuses up to 30% based on ability level. It's important to note that this is weapon abilities. It is not my character abilities, stuff like my shield right there, or my judgment. More specifically, when I use my weapon ability, which I'll do so on my Titan's Bane, you'll see on my character, it's going to say damage up. Now, let's get into how. How am I doing this? Well, going down to our passives, you're going to see that we are using a two-handed weapon. I've got a video on all of the weapon types if you want to learn how they work and how to use them. I'll leave that link in the description. The weapon mechanic for the two-handed archetype is momentum, and instantly in the weapon mechanic description it tells you exactly what I'm doing here. It says builds momentum as you swing the weapon, decaying quickly when not attacking. Momentum is what you will need to use the weapon ability on the two-handed archetype. And if I get into combat right here and start attacking enemies, you will see that I will start building up momentum so long as I am in combat. But do notice what I just said there, while I am in combat. I know it might seem obvious to read the description of how momentum works, but a lot of players still don't realize that you don't actually have to be hitting any enemies in order to generate momentum. In fact, you just need to swing the sword while you are classed as in combat, which is typically when your stamina is able to drain. So, whenever there are enemies around me, by just swinging my weapon, I can build momentum without getting in close and risking getting one-tapped. Because a lot of things in Wayfinder towards the end of the game, if you're not spec'd properly for damage, will 1, 2, or 3 hit you, and it's easier said than done. So in regards to how I am getting full charge on my sword by simply just attacking the air, I am cheesing the momentum mechanic, which will no doubt get changed in the future, and then when I'm finally ready to make my attack, I'll move over to the enemy and use my ability. So that's how that all works there. Now, doing the smoothest segue possible, why? Why am I doing this? Why wouldn't I just get in close to an enemy and just start building like that? Well, again, like I just mentioned, kind of spoiling my segue, it's a little risky to do in higher level content. When you start doing Sphere 3 and onwards activities in places like the Reaver Woods, it's very easy for you to take damage very fast and die. And that's not a risk you want to take if you're going for stuff like Max Arclight or trying to get boss kills in general. Dying is going to reset you or cause issues for your team, which might reset you. And more specifically in my case, because two-handed greatswords have a faster attack speed, it's very easy for me outside of combat to just spam my attacks and build up momentum. What I'll do is combo this with a perfectly timed roll to make sure that I never get combo fatigue. This is where I'll do a bunch of attacks and then get a large delay before I can do my next one. Just like that. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's compare the difference between this speed versus this speed. Whenever I'm in combat, I am just staying away from bosses, keeping my distance, building momentum, rolling away to reset my combo so I don't get slowed down in the animation, and when I'm finally full on my weapon ability, I cast it to give myself up to 30% damage because I'm playing a War Master where I can then continue stacking and repeat, constantly chaining damage buffs and also attacks. Now, I'm not saying that I constantly am avoiding enemies. Of course, there are times where to break the enemy, I'm going in beforehand and attacking them. But a lot of the time, my friends, I find myself just wanting to stack my ability so that it makes going into combat and chaining my combos all that more satisfying. So just a personal tasting and what I think is the most efficient way to start dealing damage with my archetype. Now, let's finish things off by talking about who. Who is this for? Why would you ever need or want to do this? Well, more specifically in my case, I'm going to let you know right now that this is going to be the most efficient on characters like Senja and Wingrave because of the Art of War archetype. It is strategically a great idea to make sure that at all times you are buffing your teammates with up to 30% weapon power. Unless you've got a bunch of NIST players who are only spec'd into ability, you might find yourself always just wanting to keep your nearby teammates buffed, even if it's with just 10% weapon power. So a lot of the time when you see me doing this, I'm not just doing it for my own personal gain, but my teammates' gain also, who get that buff. When you damage up around teammates, they will also get that buff. So, in regards to who this is for, it might be for yourself and it might also be for your teammates. But I also do believe that who this is for in terms of playable character is going to be Wingrave and Senja the most. That doesn't mean other characters can't use it, just that I feel those two benefit from it the most. Anyway friends, I hope this helps you out, and if it does, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want more help on Wayfinder, have any questions, or even want to help us on Wayfinder, please follow me on Twitch at EpicNNG, where we stream Wayfinder quite frequently when we can get through the queue. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll check you all in the next one.